Hey YouTube!
Hi, this is Aaron and my beautiful wife Tammy with Sold Out Marriage, and we are coming to you after, I guess, a unplanned
A
hiatus.
hiatus.
Um, Anyways, we can talk about that maybe if we have time, but we're coming to you from, I don't know if you can hear the cars, but we're literally in the middle of town, Salt Lake City, and an secluded spot. I actually grew up around here, so I know all the quiet places that you can go
Which was great because tonight we dropped our kid off for an activity and we're like,
for one
wait,
hour.
for 1 hour, and we're like, where are we gonna go? And I couldn't think of any place. And he was like, go here. And I'm so glad that we did. So look, really quick. So it's like a creek. And then if you turn this way, it's very pretty. So you would not know that we're right in the middle of the city. It's amazing. All right. So we want to jump into our our YouTube show today. Um, and this one, if you had listened to the last show, we gave them a preview of what we were going to talk about today. And today we are talking about oral sex. So, let's see where we're going to start that out at. I've totally lost my train of thought.
Well, why don't you think about it?
Okay.
Try to excuse the little glare when you do
Oh yeah, I gotta fix my camera.
get the camera fixed, but
Oh, yep, I remember. I'm ready. Okay.
okay.
So, one of the things that we have wanted to really talk about is the different things that we have not heard in church. So, we're a Christian couple, and we talk a lot about the things that, for the many first, 11 years, 12 years of our marriage, we just didn't hear being talked about by pastors or by church or even really at marriage conferences.
Well, yeah, I mean this topic that Tammy first shared, oral sex. I mean it's talked about with a red cheek and a coy look on the face, and and then it's quickly shined over.
Yeah.
The fact of the matter is, the reality is that it's talked about in the world. And if we don't have the information and we are curious, we would tend to go to the world to find out the information. Not necessarily anything wrong with that, but we just open ourselves to possible issues when we do.
Well, and that just reminds me of what Tony and Elisa talked about one time. So, if you haven't been listening to us for very long, we listen to One Extraordinary Marriage podcast. And one of the things that we learned some time ago was, there's cosmopolitan, and you're reading it in exotic books, or, pornography sometimes. And so the world, Aaron's right, the world's talking about it, but it's not necessarily in a godly or relationship kind of manner. So that's what we want to talk about. So oral sex. So first of all, I'm a nurse, and my kids could probably tell you that I am a little bit, I almost am able to talk about this stuff too easy. So I don't really blush over these kinds of things. So for me, it's very easy to talk about. But we really wanted to talk about the idea of oral sex in marriage, and that I had one wife asking me how this is just such a hard area for her, and we talked through some of the reasons why. But one of the things that Aaron and I have run into is that we're constantly changing in our marriage, and we're constantly having to find new ways to communicate, and your marriage changes and it ebbs and flows. And so oral sex was always a part of our marriage. I would say that I give Aaron more oral sex in our years of marriage. We've been married for almost 19 years, and I would give it to Aaron more often than vice versa, but that was okay with me because I wasn't really sure that I'm comfortable talking about it, but I'm not sure that I was very comfortable with it being done to me. Probably just self-confidence of oh my gosh, do I smell okay? I would even ask him so what's that like? Does it smell okay? Is it good? Does it taste good? Whatever. And I just wasn't confident that he was actually going to be enjoying it. And so it wasn't oh, I did it for him more than me because it was some weird male dominance thing. No, not at all. I just really enjoyed doing that for him. And so we didn't do it on me as often. But recently, over the last, I think it's been over the last couple of months, one night, Aaron just kind of, I mean, he didn't ask if he could, but I mean, we just give each other that freedom in our bedroom. And so I knew what he was going for, and I just let him. And it was the most enjoyable, amazing experience that we've had in our bedroom, not just for pleasure for me, but also in just the intimacy and the closeness, like afterwards feeling so, like just a different level of intimacy. Do you want to add anything to what I've kind of said
Well,
so far?
because we kind of went over that a little bit already before.
Yes,
or,
I had
or
to
no?
have to. I don't think we did.
So okay,
Yeah, I don't think we did.
because I thought you wanted to. Anyways, that's fine.
Okay. Yeah.
Go ahead and expand.
Yeah. So,
Whatever you want to do.
no, so I really just wanted to just talk about that, that new experience for us and how that came about, though, because when that was that night a couple of months ago, I was we're probably going to get bit out here. We'll probably have to hurry. So if we start speeding up, it's because we're getting bit by mosquitoes. But when we had finished that night, I just remember thinking, wow, that was just amazing, but different. And why? Like, I was trying to figure out why suddenly I enjoyed it so much. And so when I asked Aaron, which is something else that we've learned to do, is that we talk about our sex life in our bedroom, but also out of our bedroom. And so I asked him, I don't remember if we were in our bedroom or out at that time, but I just asked him. We talk about it pretty openly. And so when I asked him, he told me something that I didn't expect. So I do want you to go into the part about how you, like, what you did different and what that was about, or why it was different.
Well, all right. Well, it was different, and then so I'll just expand a little bit on that, and then we'll probably end it because
Yeah.
there's a whole nother part that we can talk about as far as this topic
Okay.
for another video. The reason why it was different is because I sought knowledge. But for me, it had to be, and I think I wrote about this.
You may have.
Yeah. Anyways.
Oh, you did. That's right. He did write about it.
I had to seek it out in what's the word? In a medical
Yeah.
way. Basically, it was from I think it'd be called a sex therapist. But it's a YouTube person. I didn't go visit a sex therapist, but
Which would be fine too. That wouldn't be a bad thing.
well,
but
and it's just
wasn't.
it's just to seek knowledge, just to find out information that has to do with the body that I don't necessarily know, and you can't find out just by exploring necessarily. Anyways, so it was a very medical style and a very facts and talking about what regions can pleasure, how they pleasure differently and what to do. And anyways, so taking that knowledge into practice basically is what it ended up being. So I guess the point is, it's okay to seek knowledge. For me, I just needed to be careful how I sought it because, like Tammy said, I mean, you can hear about it. My gosh, you can hear about it on podcasts. You can hear about it on YouTube channels. You can see and hear about it through pornography, and it's not necessarily going to be. It might not even be right. It's just a matter of what they're presenting, and the way they're presenting it, where just seeking out the information and the knowledge in a medical sense, it just helped me because I just wanted to know the information. I didn't need to see examples or anything like that. But it benefited us, and we're now sharing it with sharing the information with you guys, like and we probably won't go into like nitty-gritty details because number one, I'm not a medical professional, and so I would probably mess up the information. But and even though Tammy is, it would probably be better to go to an actual professional
Yeah, I'm not a
and read about it or
sex
talk about
nurse.
it or whatever.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so, I guess the encouragement is, seek knowledge. Just be careful how you do it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and if you have, leaders, people that you trust that can help you, look for resources,
Mm-hmm.
then do that. And,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not something to be embarrassed about. I mean, we're just, as long as it's done in a professional manner and it's in the context of a married couple, um, then that's great. Especially if you're trying to help your relationship or trying to help your sex life, specifically in the oral
Oh, there's a
sex
plane. Or
arena.
no, a helicopter. Oh, yeah.
So
Um,
is that
Yeah, no, I think I just wanted to just end it with Aaron had mentioned, the idea of finding sex therapists to learn about it, obviously about the body, but then also talking to your spouse. I think that was very important. Like me communicating with Aaron to say that worked. Like we're gonna do that again if that's all right with you, because it right now in our life it's what works. But if I don't communicate to him, he would have been left with like, well, I think she enjoyed it. I think it's good. But instead, I was able to communicate that with him. But that also, I mean, I would venture to say and tell you in all transparency that that hasn't always come easy to us to just tell each other those things, but it's taken some practice, wouldn't you say, over the
yeah.
past couple of years? So we talk freely about all of that now, but I do think it took some practice. And we are always trying to give you guys any kind of tools or resources that we can give you. And so I would say if you're trying to figure out how to start a conversation like that with your spouse of wanting to talk about what feels good, wanting to, figure out what could be worked on or any of that, you can email us for sure. We're happy to kind of hopefully answer some of that for you, but you can also go to oneextraordinarymarriage.com. And you can actually, they have like conversation starters. In fact, when you go to their page, it pops something up that's like, would you like to, download this conversation starter? And so there's great resources on that site. And then also our book. We do talk about communication in our book too, which is on Amazon. And it's called The Beginning of a Journey to a Sold Out Marriage. So you can check that out on Amazon. And then our email.
Yep. So I guess at this point we should just. What can we say as a excuse me, as a action step that can be
That's
taken
great. I'm
in
glad
this area?
I'm glad that you mentioned that. If you're comfortable or ready for it, at least I would say, even if it's something simple, is to sit down on the couch or in your car when you're driving, but actually warn your spouse that you'd like to talk about, something that has to do with sex or intimacy. And I would ask one simple question, like what feels, I think we started with that. What feels good to you right now when we're having sex? When it comes to foreplay or sex, what feels good to you right now? And is there, if you want a follow-up question, is there anything that doesn't? And that really helped us to start learning about each other.
And if you're
Yeah.
not ready for that specific kind of
Mm-hmm.
conversation, you can sit down and say, you know what, how often are we having sex, and how
Yeah.
often would you like to?
Mm-hmm.
Can we schedule? Can we start scheduling? Can we schedule sex this week at such and such a time? And just start the conversation somewhere, though. That's the
Mm-hmm.
point, is to this week
Mm-hmm.
have a conversation of some sort in that area,
Yeah,
whether
sexual
it's
intimacy. Mm-hmm.
when you guys can schedule sex the next,
Mm-hmm.
or specifics like what you like, what you don't like, and just start the conversation there. And you'll be surprised once you start having conversations like that. The next time you'll be a little more comfortable. Still may not be really comfortable yet, but after a few of those conversations, you'll start to actually communicate some good things.
Yeah, that's good.
So, well, I think that's about it.
Mm-hmm.
So, just remember, if you like this video,
Like it.
like it,
Mm-hmm.
and subscribe, and you'll and hit notifications
Yep.
if you want to be let know
Yep.
when we make these videos.
Yeah.
Which
We'll be
the
more
plan
often.
is more often. Tammy has been out of town, so
I have
a
been
lot.
out of town, and this summer's been crazy. You guys know what summers are like, but yeah, we've been
I,
going through stuff. So
Enough excuses, though.
I know, right?
More
We're back.
videos.
We're back. We're here. So we haven't given up.
So do all those things, and remember the book, The Beginning of a Journey to a Sold Out Marriage, on Amazon. You have to type out the whole thing if you want to find it. And share these videos, and
Email us if you have any questions or thoughts or comments at asoldoutmarriage@gmail.com. All right, you guys. Till next time.
have a great week.
Bye.